Good morning, everyone, and welcome to episode 251 of the Ask the Coach show, where PingSkills helps you improve your table tennis. Today, we'll discuss the ITTF Latin America Olympic Qualification Tournament. We'll talk about our new headshot video, and in the questions, we'll discuss two-winged loopers, getting better at tracking the ball, why the forehand shouldn't pass your middle line, and how to teach your dad to play table tennis. I'm Jeff Plum, and as always, Super Coach Alois Rosario is here with me to answer your questions. Welcome, Alois.
Thank you, Jeffrey. And yeah, Jeff, we are back.
We are back, yes. What happened to your exciting job at the ABS, Australian Bureau of Statistics?
Jeffrey, I think quite a few people were onto us that we did announce that on the 1st of April, April Fool's Day. So, yeah, I think we were found out in large proportion.
Indeed.
No
I
job.
thought it was funny. You hated my numbers segment. You got a job crunching numbers at the ABS. I liked it.
Yeah, no, I'd never do that. Never do that. Working with numbers, Jeff. Come on.
And, as someone pointed out on the Facebook, you do have an accounting degree, Alois.
Yeah, exactly. Might have finally been able to put that into use, hey?
Indeed. Well, all right. It's no longer April Fool's, Alois. And so let's talk about some serious stuff. The Latin America Olympic Qualifications Tournament. Big deal here. Chance for people to qualify for Rio. What happened?
Yes. So, some interesting results. So as far as I can gather, so they had 3 knockout events. So in the first knockout event, so you got 2 halves, a red half and a blue half. The winner of both those halves get the first 2 spots. So basically there was 2 different events, really. And in the men's, Jorge Campos from Cuba and Andy Pereira, also from Cuba, both got their spots in the first knockout. In the women's, it was Adriana Diaz, the 15-year-old player from Puerto Rico, and Lady Ruano from Colombia, so took their 2 spots. Then they have a second lot of knockout events. So those 2 players that are qualified, they're already through. Then everyone else goes into another knockout event. But in the men's, because there were 2 Cubans already through, all the other Cubans can't play because you can only have 2 players. So anyway, so Marcos Madrid from Mexico and Brian Affendor from Puerto Rico got through in the second round of the men's. And in the women's, the 2 Brazilians, Caroline Kumahara and Gui Lin, got through. And then in the third knockout event, so again, those 2 players are then through and everyone else plays a knockout. In the third, Suboy from Brazil got through in the men's. And in the women's, it hasn't got the result yet between Yadira Silva from Mexico and Arvalo from Venezuela. So I'm not sure what's happening with that result there. Maybe it's still in progress.
Wow, very exciting. And some of these Olympic qualifications, the systems are quite complicated, but I guess they end up being quite fair for the players. So complicated systems, but good results.
Yeah, interesting. They've got different systems in the different continents. Yeah, exactly. But I suppose it just caters for the particular continent. Yeah, I know Europe is completely different again. So there are different regions in Europe. So each region plays one event, and one player from each region goes through, and et cetera, et cetera. So everything's different. So so basically another 10 players now qualified through the Latin American qualification tournament. So Europe and Asia coming up, they're the biggies for me.
Absolutely. Well done to all those players. And yeah, we look forward to the rest of the regions coming on board and qualifying for Rio. All right. Now, Alois, the last PingSkills question of the day was, should edge balls and net balls be considered out? And this is quite a popular question.
Yes, we did get quite a lot of responses there, Jeff. And so I'll run through a few of them. So Mentor said the rules are the same for both players, so no. Thad, no. Both net balls and edge balls make the game more exciting. Manuel said no. Only the players with slow reaction cry about such balls. I like it. Interesting. So Michelle Ray, Michelle's someone that I played juniors with a long, long time ago, said, no, I would never win a game. Maybe. Matt Massey said, most sports have an element of luck, and there is nothing like playing a good recovering shot from a net or edge. And Dana, always a good contributor, said, not at all. The net and edge of the table are there for a reason, to define the playing areas. Then he quotes the great Andre Agassi. He said, once stated, the lines are there for a reason, for me to try and hit them. Same principle. So, so I tend to agree, Jeff. I think it's good just to continue the way we are. The only one I would perhaps consider is the netball, because on the serve or on the nair, but not really. I mean, it just adds another element of the umpire having to make a call. Did it actually clip the net? Did it not? And definitely not the edge ball. Because players are so delusional sometimes about when the balls hit the edge of their table, as far as, has it bounced properly? Did it really bounce on the edge, or was it just really deep and on the line? So I think it'd just add to the problems. Keep it the way it is for me, Jeff. What about you?
Yeah, absolutely. The edge balls, if an edge was out, everyone would be claiming that it hit the edge every time they missed the ball. I reckon that would be really bad. What were you saying about the net ball on the serve? You think they shouldn't have lets, or?
Yeah, maybe that's a rule you can look at. So you could look at, if it is a let, you just play on. I was talking to someone the other day who's playing fast four tennis, and in fast four tennis they've eliminated the lets. So if the ball hits the net and goes in, it's play on basically. So that's not a bad one. I don't mind that as an idea.
Yeah, I don't mind that, because like in the rest of the game, anytime he hits the net, it's play on. So why not on the serve? Yeah. Interesting one.
Yeah, but
very good. All right, and thanks Yeah,
but not if the ball clips the net and goes over. It's out, because again, did it actually clip the net? Who knows?
Exactly. All right. Well, thanks everyone for your thoughts. Today's PingSkills question of the day is, what is your favorite serve to use at match point? So jump onto our Facebook page or the PingSkills blog and let us know what's your favorite serve to use at match point. All right. Alois, it's time for everyone's favorite segment, This Day in History. What happened on the 4th of April?
It mightn't be, Robert Downey Jr. was born, 1965.
That's good. People like that. I know you don't watch movies much, Alois, but a lot of people would find that interesting.
Yeah, well, I know all about him. He starred in Charlie Chaplin, Iron Man, and The Avengers.
Exactly. My son loves him. Iron Man.
Oh, there you go. See? Yeah, Robert Downey Jr. And also Heath Ledger was born in 1979. So he starred in Brokeback Mountain and The Dark Knight, Jeff.
He did, yes. And yes, sad story, Heath Ledger. But anyway, let's keep it positive.
Yeah, died in 2008.
Exactly. Yeah. Poor old Heath and The Dark Knight. Yes. All right, Alois. Good segment.
Thanks. I thought so.
All right. Now, we released a video recently called the Headshot Video, Alois, and it's got quite a bit of discussion, and there's some kind of rumor going around. Well, let me explain. We put a cone on top of our heads, and then you tried to knock it off, and then I went and had a go. And there's some kind of rumor that you weren't really aiming for the cone, but you were aiming for my face. Is this true?
Jeff, come on. I was dead set aiming at that cone and getting frustrated that I couldn't hit the cone. Hitting you in the face was just pure accident. And no, I don't know where those rumors would have come from, Jeff.
Okay. All right. Good. But yeah, if you haven't seen it yet, it's on our blog. Take a look. People seem to be enjoying watching Alois smash me really hard in the face with the ball. I don't know why.
I think it was terrible, Jeff. I do apologize most sincerely.
Thank you very much. All right. Now, another interesting thing that is happening in just 2 days' time on April the 6th, Alois, is World Table Tennis Day. This is a good initiative from the ITTF.
Yeah, it is. And yeah, so if you aren't already organising something, try and organise something for World Table Tennis Day. You've only got a couple of days to do it. I know I was talking to Roger Massey down in Tassie, and they're organising an event down there. They're having an international tournament. So what they're doing is, depending on where you originated from, so you represent that team in a table tennis tournament. So that's a good initiative and something interesting. But yeah, it's a good initiative just to expose table tennis a little bit more and to highlight the beautiful game that it is. So International Table Tennis Day, April the 6th. Get onto it. You can get onto the ITTF and have a look at ways that you can get involved there too.
Absolutely, yep. And we'll put a link in the show notes where you can find out some more information about World Table Tennis Day. All right, Alois, it is time for the questions. Are you ready to give some really good advice here to all our listeners?
Certainly am, as usual,
All
Jeffrey.
right.
Yep.
Excellent. First up is a question from Ilya, who says, among two-winged loopers, some players are more forehand-oriented and pivot a lot more, and some are more backhand-oriented. How can one find its own style to follow?
Yeah, so for me, it's really about finding that line of where you're going to switch between your forehand and backhand. And for everyone, it'll be a little bit different. So for some players, that line might be over here where you're going to play forehands, and then you're only going to play backhands in this smaller section. Other players, it's going to be 50-50, and some players might even play a little bit more than 50% with their backhand and less with their forehand. So it's really about you finding your own position at the table there and trying to work out where it's best for you. If you've got a stronger forehand, then you're going to play more than 50% with your forehand. If you've got a stronger backhand, you're going to play more than 50% with your backhand. But it's just establishing that line more within your body as to where you're going to switch to play forehands and where you're going to switch to play backhands.
Yeah, it's a good question because in the past, I think players have tended to be more, the majority of players, more forehand oriented. And if you're going to pivot a lot, you're going to need good footwork. So like Zhu Xin, for example, he can cover almost anything with his forehand. He's incredible. But the game's getting faster, and the other Chinese players seem to be able to expose him a little bit and get to his backhand. So having a stronger backhand is important. So, yeah, so when picking your own style, if you are a forehand-oriented player, should you still like try and develop your backhand a bit more?
Yeah, I definitely should be developing your backhand. If you've got no backhand, then you just can't survive today. So you need to just expand your backhand and you know, at least be playing backhands in 30 to 40% of the table. If you're trying to play 80% or 90% forehands, like Zhu Xin, you have to have incredible footwork like Zhu Xin has. So yeah, so I'd encourage you to just expand your backhand a bit, you know, playing, you know, 40% at least of the table with your backhand.
Excellent. All right. Well, good question, Ilya, and hopefully that helps you out. Next up is a question from Sebastian, who says, I have a question of technique when playing random drills. How should I move my racket and position myself when I don't know if the next shot will be a forehand or a backhand? I mostly have a problem playing a backhand after a forehand.
Okay, so this one's interesting as well. So it's important that you follow the flow of what's happening in the rally. So after you play your shot, watch where the ball is and where the ball's going, and also you will peripherally you'll see what your opponent's doing, and you will just move to that next ball. So you definitely don't do this and then come back to a neutral position. You just haven't got time in table tennis to be doing this and neutral, this and neutral. So it's you play your shot, you're watching the ball, and then naturally, wherever that ball's coming, you flow into the next shot. So there, and then you flow into the next shot. So The important trigger here is being able to watch the ball properly. If you watch the ball carefully, then you can give yourself the best opportunity to see where that ball's going and what's happening next. So it needs to be a flowing motion.
Yeah, that's good, Alois. And we've got a video specifically on this topic. It's called Improving Your Reflexes, which is related to this question. And it covers exactly what you've been talking about. Watching the ball is important, but also how you can flow into that next shot. So I'll put a link in the show notes. Sebastian and anyone else who's interested in improving in this area, make sure you check out this video called Improving Your Reflexes.
Yeah, so Sebastian, you talked about, you have a problem moving from your forehand to your backhand, and that often occurs because you're turned too much towards your forehand side. If you turn to your forehand side and the ball's there, then you're not actually tracking where the ball is. So the ball's there. If they play it to your backhand side, then it's always going to be difficult. So if the ball's here, here's the ball. If the ball's here, okay, your chest shouldn't be facing over there. It should be facing the ball, so that then if the ball does come to your backhand, you can play it. If it comes to your forehand, you can play it. So just be aware of that. Just making sure that you're facing the ball and not turning too much to your forehand side.
Yeah, great tips, and good question, Sebastian. And it's excellent to see you training those random drills, because once you've built up your consistency, those random drills are really going to help you improve because they're more match-like. So well done, Sebastian. All right, next question is from Bhavesh. He says, I've seen the lessons, and many times you mentioned the forehand topspin stroke shouldn't go past the middle line of the body. Unfortunately, I'm habituated to go past the middle line of the body in almost every forehand stroke. So can you help Bhavesh here, Alois?
Yeah, so Bhavesh, so the reason we tell you that this is not as effective is because now you're in an unbalanced position. Okay, so you're here. If you're finishing at the midline, you're balanced, and again, you can flow back to this position or this position. If your bat goes all the way to here, coming back to the next forehand is a lot further distance. From here, then you can flow to the backhand or to the forehand. So that's why it's really important that you do just finish at that midline. If you're playing a bigger stroke, you can rotate further. So your bat's still not going past your midline, but it's also easier to rotate back because you can utilize your waist to get back. So yeah, that's why we tell you that that's important. How do you change it? You've just got to put a lot of attention onto it. So just practice some forehand topspin to block for a while. And the only thing that I want you to focus on is where your bat's finishing. Forget about where the ball's going. Forget about even if you miss the ball. I just want you to focus on where that bat is finishing, and just make sure that that you can always see the ball. If you can always see the ball, then you're probably going to be finishing in the right spot. If you're not seeing the ball at some stage, so here my bat's going across the line of the ball, okay, then that's no good. So yeah, so just put a lot of attention on that during your practice for a week or two and see if you can change it.
Yeah, it is interesting, Alice, because often you see people trying to learn the forehand, and you can sort of get a quicker movement if you sort of just come across your body, but it doesn't give you a consistent stroke either. And if you watch all the top players, they've just got beautiful consistency by just not crossing past the forehand line. It's really an important point to get right.
Yeah, and I think especially if you come from a tennis background, in tennis, the players do really wrap their rackets right across their body. But again, they've got just that little bit more time to be able to recover. In table tennis, you just haven't got time to recover from there all the way back to here consistently.
Indeed. All right. Thanks, Bhavesh, for that good question. Next up is one from Timmy, who says, hey, I'm trying to teach my dad how to play table tennis, and I don't really know any good way on how to teach him how to hit a basic backhand or basic forehand. He's a beginner. Do you know any exercises that I can use to teach my dad?
Yes. So, Timmy, start by keeping it really basic. So the first thing I would do, I'd show him the videos on the forehand counter hit and the backhand counter hit in our strokes and techniques section. So if he sees that, then he'll get an image of what the forehand and backhand need to look like. Either that, or you can show him what we're showing you in those videos. Then it's a real matter of getting him to focus on the start position and the finish position of those two strokes. Then how do you get him to practice it? Probably the easiest way to start with is if you just get a ball in your hand and bounce the ball on both sides. So like you're doing a serve, but without the bat. So you're bouncing it on your side and on his side of the table. That gives him a bit of time. And just get him to play one hit, you catch it and do it again. So that gives him plenty of time in between shots to make sure that he's doing the stroke correctly. So then once he does get that stroke correct, then you might bounce one and then hit the next one back for him, so he can do 2 or 3 in a row. So that's a good simple way to start off when you're teaching someone how to play those basic strokes of forehands and backhands.
Yeah, that's good. And then you can build on that really quickly as he develops, and you can start doing, forehand to forehand rallies and counting how many you can get on in a row and just keep building on the skill. Yeah, that sounds really good. It's great you're getting your dad involved. I think it's wonderful.
Absolutely. Good work.
Excellent. All right, Alois. Well, that wraps up another big show. Luckily, we've still got your services, and you're not actually going to the Australian Bureau of Statistics and doing the number crunching. So thanks for joining us again, and we look forward to a lot more good shows, Alois.
Yes, no number crunching for me, Jeff.
Indeed. Now, unfortunately, though, we are going to take a bit of a break because Alois has got some coaching commitments. This is not an April Fool's Day joke. And I've got to take my son to some football camps. He loves football, Australian rules football. So I think we'll be back on Friday, Alois. So everyone, enjoy your week of table tennis.
Thursday, maybe?
Thursday or Friday.
Yeah.
Good one.
Okay. One of those. All right. We'll let you know.
Days.
Yeah, we'll let you know.
All right. So thanks, everyone, for watching. Make sure to visit pingskills.com. And once again, thank you, Alois.
Thanks, Jeffrey, and we'll see you. I think you're right. I think it's Friday. Who knows? Friday. See you Friday. Bye.
Bye.